Hey guys, how are you? Thank you for joining us. It is Wednesday night yet again. It always seems to come faster than expected, but here we are, and I'm so glad that you've joined us tonight. I have to go ahead and apologize up front if I sound different or if I start sounding worse as the evening goes. I'm just getting over being sick this week, and part of that was that I lost my voice. And this morning, I didn't think we were going to be able to have a show because I kind of sounded like this. But I'm better now, and I have a voice for the moment. So if all of the sudden that changes, it might be a short show tonight. But nonetheless, we're here, and I appreciate you being here. Ken, how are you tonight, buddy? It's good to see you and Danny hanging out here with us. Stephen Cole, time to kick the tires and light the fires. Good deal, buddy. Derek, out in Kansas, good to see you tonight. McConnells are here. How are you, buddy? Mark, glad that you got your M24 Chaffee on order. The Tamiya kit is due out next Friday. We were throwing around the date of June 26th, but now we're close enough to that date. We can just start saying next Friday. So we're very, very excited about this kit. It is shaping up to be one of our top kits this year. Definitely one of the top kits this year. Top tank kit for sure. Everybody's excited about it. We're excited about it, and we are less than 2 weeks away from having those in our hands now. So make sure that you get those on pre-order. If you hadn't, all of the pre-orders, the plan is you will receive your tracking number next Friday, the 26th, and have it a few days after that, depending on how far away from us you are. Anyway, Bill, good to see you tonight, my friend. Got some bench time. Good deal. Looking forward to seeing what you're building sometime, perhaps in the next show and tell. Randy, good to see you tonight. Arnell, good to see you. Not Styrene Valley. There you go. Well, hey, you can name your model room Styrene Valley. How about that? EV, how are you, my friend? Steven Racing is with us, working on the Death Dealer. That's cool. Is that the Mobius kit, perhaps? There's a lot of good old resin kits of that out there, too. Mobius made a good plastic version of that. Ed, how are you, buddy? Frank is in the wings, trying to access the live stream. All right, well, we will just know that Frank wants to tell us his party time, whether he makes it in or not. Good to see you tonight, Ed. John, how are you? Jose, right up the road. Good to see you, buddy. Raymond and Jim. Jeff, how are you? You guys are having a good evening, I hope. Patrick, how are you? Let's see. Ed, there you go. Beer shortage because of the games. Good deal. Hope y'all are having a good time. Rex, good to see you. Miles wants to know when we're going to have more of SCAO 6, which is one of the olive drabs, I believe. We will have them soon. Crystal's working on all that. She's got all sorts of colors on the way, mixed in with those new colors that you guys have been teased about, that we will be telling you all about on July 22 next month. Bernard, good to see you. Rob, Miling Maestro, first time viewer from San Jose. Well, that's what we like. Newcomers. It's good to see you tonight. I hope you have a good time hanging out with us. And if you come back next week, then we'll know you had a good time. But thanks for joining us, and we really appreciate you tuning in. Recon, how are you, buddy? Yeah, you might have seen Recon's message blinking during the countdown clock. Yeah, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button for us. It helps us out, and we would appreciate that. Chris, good to see you, buddy. Michael up in Maryland. Stephen and Glenn right here in town. Good to see you tonight, buddy. David up in Fairview. Bernard, ever had that feeling that you joined a build group and you're down to the last 2 days and not done yet? Yeah, wait till you're down to the last 2 hours and you're not done yet. That's when it really starts getting fun. Chip, good to see you tonight, buddy. Oh, good to see you tomorrow. Good deal. Well, have a good time at work. get everything done, and you'll be seeing us tomorrow. Charles, good to see you tonight. Bigfoot, John, up in Wisconsin, up in Jeff's neck of the woods. TD, Jason, right up the road. Just got his Edward P51B on order. Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. JL, hey, there's Frank. Good to see you tonight, buddy. And he says it's party time. So, indeed. Benjamin, looking forward to some of the Qatari new releases. Gonna be good ones for sure. Frank, any Eagle Quest updates? There are a lot of Eagle Quest updates, Frank. But we're still working on a few final things on the back end. We've got a lot of the some of the major information to put out, such as the vendor list. Rob is still working on the official rules for the contest. He's working with the judges, getting everything set in place. And sometime probably in the next few weeks, we're really going to start pushing that, giving you guys a lot of the information. And then right after the IPMS Nationals is when you're probably going to get tired of us talking about it, because we're going to hit the ground running right after Nationals with the promotions and the marketing and promoting all the different vendors and letting you know who all is going to be there selling stuff, who all is going to be there displaying stuff like Tamiya, who all is going to be there speaking, like our good buddy Dana Bell. Oh, that's right. I just let that cat out of the bag. Yeah. So we've got some really, really cool surprises for you guys that are going to be at the show, talking, doing seminars, hanging out, saying hello, shaking hands. It's going to be a really good time, Frank. But there'll be more on that coming soon. I do promise. Theron, good to see you tonight, my friend. And Frank, I can tell Frank hadn't been here in a couple of weeks. He's got all the good questions. How is the new expanded 3D shop going? Well, I'll just say it's going. And this July 22 date that we keep throwing around, we'll have a lot of cool stuff to talk about that night next month. Things that we'll have ready for the Nationals and things that will be ready in our catalog from now on, from that point. So all sorts of goodies and surprises coming on the 22nd. John says Frank's here. Yep. Byron, JL, Two Hands. Yeah, let's see. Who else have we not seen yet? Bill, hey, buddy, how are you? Right up the road from us. Hector, there's Dave out in Arizona. He's got his 32 scale Mustang. All right. So and then here's Benjamin talking about it. So since you guys have brought this up, I want to go ahead and bring in my guest for the night, which, believe it or not, is not Jeff. Jeff, you may have seen his post on one of the groups that he is sick. And he said we would not even want him to be on screen. He'd have to be muting his mic the whole time, coughing and stuff. So hopefully Jeff will get to feeling better soon. He'll be back next week. But tonight, outside of Jeff, I've got my other favorite guest that doesn't come on here too often, but this is Mr. MMD Distributors himself, my dad, Russ.
Hey,
Hey,
everybody.
how are you?
I'm good. I'm not sick.
Well, that's good.
Yep. Good to be here. I thought I
Yeah.
was going to have to substitute for you, but looks like you sound a lot better than you did this morning.
Well, now you can do all the talking, and I can just sit here because I'm good. But give me 20 minutes, and I may not be good.
Understand. Understand. Yeah, I was surprised Jeff got sick. I didn't know until a couple hours before the show.
Yeah, well, he blames it on con crud. He was at NimCon this past weekend, and then he came home, and you know how that goes. So
Yep. Yep. I'm afraid I got sick twice with the Rona from two nationals in a row. No fun.
yeah,
So it happens.
the things we go through to go to the places we want to go.
That's
But
right.
Jeff did say that he had a great time at the show. It was a good show. Had several hundred models on the table, and so I don't know if any of you guys were there, but hopefully y'all got to go and hang out with Jeff and see him and all that. Hopefully you didn't get sick. But well, how's LJ tonight, Dad?
It is It's been really nice. We've had some very mild weather the last week. Doesn't even feel like June. So being up here in a little higher elevation than you are over there,
Yeah,
it makes a few degrees different.
there you go. Well, it's I don't know. I've been over here so long now. I guess I'm just used to it.
There you go.
So, but it's all good. Well, so what prompted me to go ahead and bring you in tonight was the talk about the P-51 Mustang. But before we get into that, let me pull this up real quick. Here we go. So this is our June catalog for Squadron. Uh, and I know you being over on the MMD side of things, you're dealing all this stuff to all your dealers. Of course, I get all this stuff from you. But um, on the Edward side of things, if I can find them, here we are. So here's their P-51. But let's back up just a second. So they did this strafer. They've announced the Catalina. We just got in these Hornet Legacies, all of these, and in the Battle of Britain Spitfire, all of these limited edition kits that they do, they have a tendency to sell out pretty quick. And sometimes I know that when Edward announces something like this Catalina, for example, they say, we're making this, it's limited, and when they're gone, they're gone. Well, Edward, they are completely sold out of the Catalina. It's already discontinued, and it's not even released yet. But explain to the guys, because I'll get emails sometime when Edward says, Catalina is sold out and discontinued. I will get emails from guys saying, can you please figure out how to get me one because they're sold out already? Okay, just because Edward is sold out doesn't necessarily mean the distributors around the world are sold out. So tell us a little bit about how that works and how when they see things like sold out, how that actually translates to still possibly being able to get it from your dealer, like Squadron or whatever your local hobby shop is.
Well, Edward is probably, for a catalog, they have more items than anyone else. And I would say at least double and maybe even triple anyone else. At any one time, they may have 6,000 or 7,000 different SKUs on their catalog. I was actually placing an order earlier this evening, waiting on the show. And I literally had to go through 7,000 different items. What do we need? What do we not need? Things.
And that's not just plastic model kits.
That's correct. So they'll have, I don't know, this is a guess, but say 100 plastic model kits that are available. It may not be quite that, but maybe 60, 80. It varies. But most of it's the detail parts, as we know. That's what I always knew them for.
Yeah, it's kind of how they got
many years ago.
Photo etch, and now they're canopy masks and they're 3D printed parts, all that stuff.
That's right. So what they'll do is, and I always forget the date. I'll call you sometime, Brandon, and say, Brandon, what month am I working on with Edward? Because they make an announcement the 15th of every month, but they just announced the
P-51.
The P-51 2 days ago. And I think they put it up on their Facebook page because you told me about it first, or because somebody told you, hey, Edward's coming out.
Yeah. As soon as they posted that up, I was getting emails and phone calls. Right. And the reason is because they put these dates out. They say the pre-order window is, I forget what it was, but something like 12 days, and that was it.
Right.
And, you have to order it within this 12 days.
So they send me my information on the 15th. So sure enough, a day or so after you told me, hey, they just put it up. Here comes the price. Here comes the information about the kit. I get it out to the dealers. The guys that ask, put it up for pre-order for the dealers. You in turn put it up for your customers. And here we go. Well, I only have a short window to order from Edward. I can't wait till August 1st and get them because they set their production run. I don't know exactly when, but
Hmm.
probably that pre-order period they've got, which is probably another week or so.
Right.
So I went ahead and placed a pre-order with them the day that I could do that, which was Monday, the 15th.
Right.
And then sometimes, depending on how popular it is, I could go back if we missed our guess on how many we thought we would sell,
Right.
which is what happened on the Catalina. So the Catalina was announced May 15th, releasing in July, and they are boxing those up this week. If you watch their Facebook page, they usually show a picture of their boxed up super release, 45 days before it hits. So the Catalina, and I checked my pre-orders yesterday, and I said, "Oh wow, I probably should see if I can get some more because we were getting close to selling out on what we had guessed that the pre-orders we would need." And I emailed them and I said, "Can I get any more?" And they said, "No, we have sold out our complete production run." Um, I think they save a few. I think they have an E-Day or something
Yeah,
coming up.
their big show.
Yeah. So they had reserved a few for that or whatever they thought, and that was all they had left. So if they sell all of those on E-Day, none of us will get another shot at them.
Yep.
But so
And
right now we have what we have.
yep.
And
And the
we
thing
still
about
have,
that is I went ahead and placed my order with you, and I pretty much have what I'm going to have, guys. So if you have it, I've got, I don't know, a couple, maybe a few dozen left that are not spoken for, and that's it. And and I'm watching it because they're coming in pretty quick. And when I get down to about one or two left, I'm going to cut the pre-orders off, and then that'll be that. Catalina will be sold out. And the thing about it is, it's the same. And you say, well, how do you know all these things are limited? Some of them, I'll give you a really good example. The Bloody 100th B-17 from 2 years ago. Well, I knew that it was going to be a good seller. It was an excellent kit. So I kind of bet the farm on it and told Dad, I said, hey, I'll take this many if you'll get them for me. And he laughed and said, all right, pay me. And we did, and I still have them. But we're down on those. I'm down to, what do you think? Probably a couple dozen of them. And
if that, about that.
When they're gone for good. So sometimes, same thing on the Strafer, this cool Strafer. We knew this was going to be a good one. We wanted to be around for a little while. Sometimes you just don't know. You can order what you think. It wasn't enough. Sometimes you order what you think, and it was more than enough. But
well, the Hornet Legacy is another one that they did, and they'll produce so many. I think Edward has really been able to up their game over the last few years. And
sure.
maybe they've always been here, but I think it's more than it used to be back in our free time days,
right,
when we used to order from them. And they're redoing some other people's kits, like some of the HK kits. And we sold way more of their version than we did the original HK version when it first came out.
right.
I think Edward has a great name. We all know if they produce it, it's going to be good.
Yep.
And we're not going to be disappointed.
Well, and they put some really interesting liveries in it and decal markings and that sort of thing.
Yes.
And Stephen Rayson is over here asking, oh, you still have Bloody Hundreds? And yes, we actually do. You can see it here. So very,
I figure the last ones are going to sell at Nationals. I mean, if we have a dozen or so left.
Yeah, we'll take them. We'll take whatever we have.
That'll probably be the last of it.
Yep. But it's going to be good. But I say all this to let you guys know this is going to be the next big thing from Edward. They have been promoting this, or well, not really promoting it. They have been teasing this for well over a year now. This has kind of been the rumor that Edward was going to do an all new tool 32 scale Mustang. And I figured we would end up getting a little bit more warning than, hey, we're doing it. You got a week to order them and they're coming out next month. But that's kind of all of the sudden, poof, here we are. and you got to get them pre-ordered as quick as you can. Um, so
Well,
I
you
love.
always told me back when we first started with MMD and Squadron that their Royal class, which I learned, was when they ran a limited number. A lot of time, it was usually their highest end, and usually around nationals, you would always say one of their big releases of the year is always right before nationals.
That's true.
So
Well,
this
that would.
P51 and 2 years ago was Bloody 100th.
Yep.
I don't remember what last year was. We sold out of those.
I
Was it
think
the P40?
I think it was their P40E,
That would make sense. Yeah.
if I remember correctly. Which, by the way, if you guys didn't look at it yet, over on the catalog, make sure to go check out Keith's P40 Royal Class build. He did a fantastic job on this, and as you can see, he did their dual combo Royal Class kit, but he added all their other goodies that they did with it, and it just turned out fantastic. So make sure to check that out in the catalog, read what he's got to say about it. But that's just one example of what you can do with an Edward Royal Class kit.
Yep. And this is a good question about what hybrid means. And Brandon, you might want to take it because you've looked at more kits as I'm not at the warehouse every day. But they just started these, gosh, it wasn't but about 3 kits ago, started calling them hybrids
Yep.
with the 3D parts they're adding.
Yeah, and that's kind of it, because a traditional model kit, if that's what we want to call it, would be a plastic model kit. But as 3D parts become more and more acceptable as something we use, which is kind of funny to me, because 3D parts are resin parts. But if we
Yep.
say use a resin part, we all have this mindset of how resin parts used to be. 3D printed resin parts are just the new way of producing resin parts. And yes, I understand that it's a slightly different type of resin and all that. But because 3D printed resin has become such I guess you'd call it a mainstay in the business now, and it's an accepted, form of a material to use, you're starting to see these parts be included in model kits, and not just Edward. I mean, there's a lot of companies now that you're seeing more and more resin parts included in what is otherwise a standard model kit. Well, Edward's just going ahead and saying, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have plastic parts, but we're also going to have a bunch of 3D parts, and it's all going to be in the kit, and they're calling it a hybrid.
Right. And we've seen a similar thing from other manufacturers. And I remember there were a couple of ship kits that came out. I don't remember which one started it, but you could only get a deluxe kit. Used to, you get a standard kit, then you get an upgrade kit.
Right.
Well, why make all the plastic parts that you're going to throw away anyway? And they started creating the kits, and you had to have the 3D parts.
Right. Yeah, and that's a very good point. And everything's changing, and this is kind of a side trip we'll take just for a second. I've had a lot of emails lately about gold medal photo etch, gold medal models photo etch, and the thing about it is there's a lot of the gold medal stuff that is out of stock now, and we realize that. The factory that Lauren used to produce those parts is no longer in business. They closed down.
Yep.
I don't know how many months ago, but they are no longer in business. This particular company, unfortunately, the tooling, if you will, you guys are just gonna cry when I tell you this, but the tooling that this particular company produced, it was part of the agreement or the contract or whatever. When you make a product with them, you do not own the tooling. Whether that's right or wrong, that was the deal. And
that goes all the way back to some of the old Yankee Model Works photo etch.
Yankee Model Works
photo
etch. Yep.
When you started your Blue Ridge models and tried to get the photo etch molds,
yep,
you found out they were not part of Yankee Model Works or not owned by
exactly. I mean, So Lauren stuff, as long as he was using this manufacturer, they were
Yeah.
his to use. But if he were to say, "All right, send me the film so I can get somebody else to use them," nope, those are not yours to have.
Yeah.
So you've probably figured out where this is going by now. The factory closed down; they no longer exist. All of the original gold medal tooling no longer exists on this planet.
Yeah.
Which,
Well, but it's not all bad news
yeah,
because 3D printing is taking over for so much. We
right,
talked about veteran models not
right,
long ago, and somebody asked. And the last time I talked to Melvin, I said, "Hey, I'd like to place a restock order." And he says, "I'm having to or
yep,
I've chosen to redo my entire line.
yep.
And I can't
And
imagine how long it's taken him
well, and
because
I'm
it's been
glad you
months."
mentioned that because I think it was last week or the week before Ed Grun asked when we're getting
Yeah,
veteran restock. So Ed, that this is the answer to your question a
right.
week or two ago. He's in the same boat that we are with the gold medal stuff. So because we are having to recreate now, we've got all of Lauren's original design files that he
Right.
submitted to the factory. So we could theoretically submit these files to another factory, which we're going to do. But why send in the artwork that has all this space taken up for 20 millimeter Oerlikons and 40 millimeter quad Bofors when you guys are just going to not use those and you're going to buy
Right.
3D parts anyway? Why not save the space so that the photo etch set can cost less money? And then you buy, you can kind of a la carte. You take the photo etch parts that you got to have in photo etch, and then you pick your 20s and your 40s and everything else. So,
I
um,
could name you 5 or 6 companies right off the top of my head that used to only produce photo etch. And now when I look at their new releases, it's not photo etch anymore. It's all 3D stuff. And so they still have some photo etch, but the amount of new photo etch items is almost non-existent. It's rare. Edward still does some, but again, they've got 7,000 items in their
right,
catalog, but they're doing a lot of 3D now, way more now than they did, say, 2, 3 years ago.
right. Right. And Ken
Yeah,
says, is it cheaper to produce? That is that's the $1 million question.
yeah.
And the answer is yes and no. It just depends. I mean, for us on the gold medal, what would be cheaper would just to have continued running what Lauren's been running for 40 years. But considering that's not
Except,
an option,
yeah, except the method that the guys that were doing that, there's better methods
yeah,
and less expensive sources.
yep,
So that kind of went away. And the question is 3D cheaper to produce? Hard to say about cheaper, but it is easier,
yep.
and it is easier to run lower production.
Well,
That's why, I mean,
it's
we
easier,
don't do photo etch here, but we do 3D printed parts. It
right?
is easier.
Yeah, and the fact is too, just like what we were talking about a minute ago, 3D it's the new kid on the block. It's the accepted way to do things now. Um,
Yeah,
and in a lot of ways, it's a lot easier when it comes to gluing parts together at your modeling bench.
right. I mean, I see that we still sell a good amount of photo etch rails and maybe some of the little
Yep.
bitty parts. But the complicated things like your guns, your quads, and twin Bofors for ships, man, the 3D ones just kind of blow away trying to bend that photo etch around to make one.
Right. Well, Glenn is talking about Edward being the Cadillac of PE, and Glenn, in a lot of ways, I agree with you. Edward, if you've been doing models, and in our case, been in the business as long as we have, you think back, Edward, they were photo etch. I mean, that's all they did, kind of thing. And now they still have a lot of photo etch, but if you're wondering, well, what gets changed from photo etch to 3D? Watch Edward. They're kind of the leader in that. If Edward changes something to 3D, there's probably a pretty good reason. And if Edward leaves something in photo etch, there's probably a pretty good reason, because they've got a massive staff of designers, and they kind of do it, you know, both ways. And sometimes you'll get the option. I mean, there are parts that can go either way. Some people prefer one or the other. And Edward, a lot of times, will give you those options, as you'll see next month in our July 22. See, there goes that date again. Our build that you're going to get to see next month is quite amazing. And it's got a lot of optional parts in it that, you'll see what I mean. But Glenn, it is true.
I think it'll simply depend on what the sales do. And Edward would be a great one to follow too, because they have so much of all of it. If photo etch doesn't sell very much, you'll see less and less offered.
Right.
If it continues to be in demand, which I think it will for some time on handrails and things, then you'll continue to see that much longer than, take a Pontos Deluxe set. More and more 3D parts keep coming into these new sets that they're developing, and the sets are even better. They still have plenty of photo etch, but there's a lot of other parts in some of the newer designs they're doing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is very, very true. So I don't know. We'll just have to see how things keep changing. It's one of those things. When it first started, some people would say, well, we'll see how it goes. I think that it is pretty obvious that 3D is here to stay now in our hobby industry. But that's not a bad thing. I mean, when you start seeing companies like Edward doing this kind of stuff with these P51s and everything else that they're doing, it's some really, really nice stuff. I mean, you go back and look at some of the figures that used to be the pilot figures that used to be included in old monogram kits. They were great for their day, but take a look at that picture. A plastic figure does not look like that. I mean, some of them look really, really good, but not like that. And now you're going to get this kind of stuff included right in the kit. And again, that's why they're calling it a hybrid, because it's a little bit of both, perhaps the best of both worlds, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I guess I say all that to say, get your P51 on order before they're sold out.
Right. That's right.
Oh, man. Well, Dad, what else? Go ahead.
Did you see Jose threw up a question?
Oh,
and I wasn't surprised that somebody was going to ask it, because I hear this question.
Oh, well,
that's
a you question. So you go.
Oh, I know. I'll say it just in case someone doesn't know. I've been amazed, as large and as important of a distributor to our business segment that Stevens is, and I guess was, as of now. I've been amazed. There are a lot of people that didn't know this or didn't know them. For those of you who don't know the Stevens, because they're not a retailer, but the family did own Mega Hobbies, so that may be a name you know. That was the Stevens family's retail side, similar to Squadron and MMD for us. But Mike Bass, who's I think a few years older than me, decided to retire, and his son, Alan, and I think they all got together as a family. I don't know exactly, but they just made the decision, we're going to close. And they announced that last fall. And that was on the heels of Hornby USA, Hornby out of the United Kingdom, decided to close up their USA distribution. And so it really changed my side of the business. A lot more dealers that knew us. There were a lot of dealers that went to Stevens after original MMD closed. I get that all the time. Yeah, I bought from MMD for years. Then I started buying from Stevens when MMD closed. Now that they're closing, I guess I'll start buying from you again. So it has increased our business. And I think everybody that was left, it's not just MMD. I mean, there are other, with two major distributors, especially Stevens, now gone, the business is shared between the several distributors that are left. For model kits, that's pretty much all we do. So there, a lot of that business. We were able to pick up a few lines that we previously didn't have because a lot of these manufacturers, they don't want all the distributors. They'll pick one or two or three, and that's it. And there were a lot of people when I called them and that I never could get before. I remember one said, "Oh, well, I figured I'd be hearing from you pretty soon after Stevens closed." I says, "Well, you don't have any reason not to sign me now." And he said, "No, you're right. We'll start selling to you." So that gets more brands. And do we sell more quantities of the new releases? Yes. For you car guys out there, that side of the business just exploded because Brandon in Squadron was pretty significant part of our business 2 years ago and last year, and didn't sell a whole lot of cars. Well, all these other dealers, they needed cars. And so my Revell and my round two business has just exploded since Stevens closed up. Because they were a main supplier for a lot of hobby stores. And so that's changed. I think Jared gets the brunt of that at the warehouse because now he's got uh, a lot more of my dealer orders that he's got to get out every day. But yes, it did change everything. Hopefully we can take up all the slack we can handle over here, and I'm sure the other guys are the same way. It will change the business, no question, but I think it'll be fine going forward.
And don't worry, I still pester him every day saying, "Hey, get this and get that."
Yeah.
It's Steven's asking about Aoshima stuff. They're on the list. Triumph models, Bill, they're on the list. Jason,
Oh
AK,
gosh.
yeah, AK products, they're on the list. Trust me, the list is long.
Here is the challenge. You know, even though MMD's been around for what, since 1968, and Brandon and I, this is our 20th year. Back when we first started, it was Russ and his boy. Now it's Brandon and his dad 20 years later. But anyway, so I'm just Brandon's dad now.
Well.
But when we started, you know, there's only so much we can do every day and all of these different brands, and I have to keep up with them. And Edward is still coming out with stuff every month. So, and Vallejo and Tamiya and Squadron Paint still has thousands of colors.
Don't forget the shirt you're wearing.
Oh yeah, and ICM, they come
Every
out with
month.
things every month. And so to take on other lines, it's a difficult decision. Brandon would love me to take on every line immediately, as all of you probably would. But I have to be able to do a good job for them. And some of the smaller manufacturers, it's really hard to give them a fair shot because Edward Trumpeter, Tamiya, how much Tamiya is just crazy. They do such a nice job with all they have. So I got to do the guys that have been with us since day one. They jumped on board early back when everybody said nobody will sell to MMD. There were a few guys that said, no, we'll give you a shot, Russ. And I've got to continue to do a good job for them. Try to take all of them on, but don't shortchange my guys that have been there since the beginning.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it for sure. I'll answer this question real quick that Steven's got. And Steven, I'm going to answer this in a very broad way. He's asking about the 200 scale Turpits from Trumpeter, which is coming soon. You can see that here. Asking about the price that we have it listed for pre-order. Will that be the price for the first shipment once we get them, or will it go up later? And the answer to that is the same answer on everything that we have for pre-order, and that answer is I honestly don't know. All I know is that if you pre-order it today, that's the price we're going to honor. It could change tomorrow. It's probably not going to, but what happens, and Dad, this is another one that you can chase this rabbit for a minute, is the container costs, the tariffs, the the customs duties, the semi-truck driver that brings it from the port, all of those things change literally every day. And when it takes 45 days for the container to get here, that's a lot of days for things to literally change every day. So, Dad, you can speak on that a little bit if you want to, on how you don't pull all your hair out trying to figure out the pricing.
Well,
Or we can move
yeah.
on.
No, I was trying to think of a good way to answer it. There are a lot of variables, and we are very happy to be a direct importer of trumpeter, and there are not very many of us. And thankfully, old MMD did a nice job for trumpeter, and old MMD was actually instrument. They were the reason Hobby Boss brand was introduced by Yai Tai Electronics, or however we say that their official company name. So being able to buy it direct, I can offer a better price to my dealers on trumpeter than some of the others. And that also translates for you if you buy from Brandon or Lionheart or John Novak or all those guys that are out there. There are some brands I can do pretty good on. And but last year was who knows. And there were a lot of changes because of the tariffs. Did it hurt us? No, because we watched the tariffs and we didn't just flip out every time the politics would change. And sometimes that meant me delaying some things. There's no way I'm going to bring in a container of trumpeter if China's at 145% tariff. Just not going to happen. So I didn't buy any. I didn't have any contracts out that I had to. And I told the guys, I said, as soon as they come back to something reasonable, we'll do it. And they dropped right back to 30% for a while. Now they're at 10. Will they go up again? Will they go down? I don't know. But most of the tariffs we ate. We just took it in the shorts. And most of my suppliers also did. So if there was a 30% tariff and I cut my margin 15 and Trumpeter cut their margin 15%, what did that affect you? It didn't. Price was the same. Now that's not what everybody did, but that's what MMD did. And that's what a lot of my suppliers did. However, at some point, there's not much you can do. So that was why the fluctuation last year. I noticed some things from Revell the other day that I got back in. Brandon, you remember you called me. You thought I'd made a mistake because some of Revell's items were so different and had dropped so much. You said, are you sure? This used to be $40 retail. Now it's 30. Well, that was because of the tariffs that Revell was bringing in and their stuff, probably from China. And it changed. So I have a good relationship with Trumpeter. There is a chance it may go up at some point, but I don't foresee that at this moment.
Well, it's like the going back to the Edward Limited stuff. If you know you want one, buy it before they're gone. And it's the same thing with Trumpeter or any of the other stuff. If you like the price and you know you want one, go ahead and get it on order. Lock yourself in to the price that we have advertised. On the very rare occasion that the price gets to come down between the time that we let's just use your Turpix example again. If for some reason they were to show up and Dad says, hey, by the way, they're $10 cheaper, and we lower the price, we honor that. If we have to raise the price, we don't raise it on you. But if we end up lowering the pre-order price between the time that we start doing pre-orders and the time we get them and ship them, we fix that. We've had to do that, I don't know, maybe 2 times, maybe 3 times in the past 5 or 6 years.
It's probably mostly last year.
It probably was, but I just specifically remember a couple because it takes forever to go through and edit everybody's order and give that $5 or $10 discount or refund back. But yeah, we have never to this point, if the price went up, that was on us. You pre-order today, that's the price you're getting. We're not gonna do that to you. But that's just that's how all that kind of works. So Bill says, dang it. I forgot about Turpits now. I'm poor. Oh,
I
God.
don't think that one's on this container. That's one of the
No,
most.
that's a brand new.
You got time to come up with your money there because
Yeah.
that is not on the. We have a Trumpeter Hobby Boss container arriving at the some. It was supposed to be here in the middle of the month. Here you go. Here's a timing one for you. I have never seen a container go through the Panama Canal and make a right turn and go to Colombia first before it came to the USA. But this one did. And it sat there for a week.
Gotta
I was
love it.
like, I was like, really? But I did check, and it is on its way to Charleston and then Savannah. So we'll hopefully have it in about a week and a half. And that's some of those big 1/16 scale.
Yeah, the
What is it?
Nashorn. Yeah,
Yep.
Nashorn will be here. Here's your one, Dad, that you probably don't have an answer for, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Rob's asking about I Love Kit. Do we have any idea when the USS Enterprise CV6 is going to be back in? We've hit Rob and several other guys. We've been waiting quite a while for those. You heard anything? No.
No, it's fine. Everybody is a little bit different. And for those of you who don't know, I Love Kit is yet a third brand that is currently being offered by the Trumpeter parent company. And that one, many of you remember the Merritt kits that Merritt is a distributor, and he had some made specifically for him. When that ended, I Love Kit was formed as just a third brand, and instead of running it through their Trumpeter Hobby Boss distributors for the USA, they set up a company in the US, kind of like Tamiya USA to do that. But I mean, Tamiya has been doing that for however many years, and they pretty well got it going on. I Love Kit is fairly new and doesn't have as much stuff. So their new things, they have to come up with orders. They'll get pre-orders from us and the other I Love Kit distributors and I guess just distributors. And they had some new kits, and in March, I was told they're delayed. It will be middle of May before they show up. Okay, we know what date it is today, and I've not heard anything. So I'm sure they have the same problem the rest of it is. Surely they didn't get diverted through Colombia to get to the West Coast, which is where their containers come in. But
Yeah, who knows?
I haven't heard anything in about 2 weeks from them, and I need to give them an email and see where they are.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get it for you, Rob. One of these days. The bad thing is, though, Rob, whenever we do get it, you're going to have to like drop everything and build it. Of course, as long as you've been waiting on it, that's probably not a problem for you. And yes, Glenn, he's talking about a 350 scale one.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, talking about the Trumpeter, the parent company, yeah, they've got several different name brands. Trumpeter, Hobby Boss, I Love Kit, Merritt International, Gallery,
Yeah,
mini,
that's right, Gallery.
yeah, mini hobby models. That's not really a
Yes,
thing anymore. Monochrome, if you know their Japanese
that's
brands.
right.
The
And
list.
a lot of those smaller companies, like a Monochrome and a Gallery, those are the ones I can remember. They'll have the same kits because they'll offer different distributors the opportunity to co-brand
Yep.
those products.
And
I
they've
don't know
got
how much
different
more
names.
we'll see with I Love Kit. They're kind of taking a
Yeah,
lot of it.
I don't know. And they, their galleries. And when I say gallery, I'm not talking about the airbrushes that, by the way, we got to talk about in a second. I'm talking about gallery, the 200 scale Yamato battleship. And that, and I forget the other two name brands. I think Monochrome may be the one from
Monochrome is
Japan,
one.
but there's a third name brand that
Out of
kit
Europe.
goes, yeah, out of Europe, and I forget what it is. But yeah, Trumpeter's got so many name brands that they produce, and I probably don't even know all of them.
Yeah.
So, Keith, the Skyhawk will be here at the end of the month.
Yes.
Yep. And Dan over on Facebook, Edmund Fitzgerald, I'm going to throw that July 22 date back at you there. All of our
You're just
staff.
saying because it's your birthday, July 22nd, you want everybody to, throw you a big
Okay.
party with all
All
these
right.
releases.
July 22nd is my birthday, but it
And
also,
it's your mother's birthday too, so don't forget that.
yes, but it's also exactly 2 weeks before the start of the IPMS Nationals, which I thought would be a perfect time to talk about all of our goodies that we've got. So we'll see. We'll see. Oh, all right. Here's one for you, Dad. You got
All
to
right.
answer this one because if you were to go to Verifier website, it directs you to Squadron MMD, and Bill is asking, did Squadron MMD get exclusive Verifier distribution agreement?
Brandon, how long do you want me to take on the Verifier story? It's like a soap opera. I
Yeah,
mean, it
well,
really is. But
give us
I'll go short as I
yeah,
can.
give us the Reader's Digest version, and yeah, that's
Which was nice to have. We like the company, we like their stuff,
oh yeah,
and
and now that we're, you know, it's kind of like going back in time 10 years ago when I was pitching ideas like Montana's to them. Now I'm thinking, okay, now that we're back in with them good again, what kind of ideas? And if the one that we're thinking comes to light, you guys are just going to laugh, and it's going to be great. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Oh gosh. Well, here is a couple of things I want to mention, and then we've got a third surprise guest that just popped in that we'll pull on in just a second. But before we do that, the last thing I want to get you to touch on, because Bill says love the business end discussion. So here's a real fun one. Well, it's not really fun actually. I shouldn't say that. An interesting one. How about getting products out of Ukraine?
hmm,
And how does that go for you? I mean, I know the hairs that get pulled just trying to pull that off because I mean all of our friends over there that produce all these great kits, whether it's ICM or this clear prop that I'm about to show. This is
yeah.
the new one. You guys have been asking when we're going to put these up for pre-order. The F4Bs are up for pre-order now. But how do you can't get direct flights out of Ukraine? So how difficult is it
Okay.
to pull off what you have to pull off with these guys?
Well, I only started buying from the Ukraine suppliers, I guess it's only a few months before the war started. It might have been a year, but I don't think so. I think it was like 6 or 8 months. And so it's very easy then. You just, there's a freight broker over there that knows all of the manufacturers. And I think we started with Roden because I had a history of knowing them. Roden agreed to sell to MMD, cash, of course. But back then everything's cash. With nobody would sell to MMD on credit, that name, and I didn't even ask. So we started with Roden. They said, yeah, you need to communicate with this guy, and he says, yeah, I know ICM, I know Masterbox, Micromeer, Unimodel, just everything. And so back then we had a lot of options. As soon as the war started, no flights out of Kyiv. FedEx, UPS, DHL, that was out of Ukraine. And I used to kind of joke because they would load a truck, all the guys over there. So I might get 3 or 5 or 7 different brands. And my guy would coordinate everybody. Okay, get them here, pick them up, and they truck them to Warsaw, Poland to fly out of Warsaw. And I have been amazed at how few problems we've had. Occasionally there'll be some delays. We haven't had power, but 8 hours a day this week or whatever. and we're slow. But and of course there was a tragedy of Roden's longtime employee and the guy that did their box art,
Yeah.
was killed right at the beginning of the war, and I was concerned. And then there was ICM's factory. ICM's factory is actually in an old, I think, Soviet military kind of area where they had production there, and right next to them got bombed, and there were tragically several people who were killed right around the corner from them. It'd be just like the business right down the street, and it was a 24-hour shift bakery. It was bombed at night, and a lot of people lost their lives. And ICM's factory was damaged, and I remember speaking to Valeria, and she was certainly shaken. But you know what? The next month, they had new kits. They shipped the kits, and we paid them, and they, So I've been amazed. Other than shipping out of Warsaw, those guys have been amazing, and really, without exception, I can't think of a single brand that has not done a good job for us during this time.
Yep. And they're making excellent stuff too. It's not like they're shortchanging the product just to get something out and make some money. I mean, because everything, ICM's new releases are top shelf. All the factories over there, Clear Prop, even Roden has some new products that's been coming out and that are being announced. So
now there was one issue that's interesting.
Okay.
Was all the makers and all the things. When I send wires to Ukraine,
oh yeah,
oh my goodness, at the questions and all of the different things that I had to do just to get the money through.
Okay, well here's another one then. So and this is some of that business talk that some of you guys may not even know. So when Squadron started in 1968, it was a retail store, the Squadron shop. It very quickly became a mail order business shortly after that, maybe even the same year. But it wasn't till about I think it was at 71 or 72, couple 2 or 3 4 years later, when they created MMD as the distributor. And MMD stood for Military Model Distributors. And MMD was Military Model Distributors from that point all the way up until about 6 months ago, when you had to officially change your name. And why did you have to officially change your name? And what is it now?
Well, we couldn't use the same corporate name because we were a different corporation. We just bought the assets.
Right.
I bought the assets of MMD from the guy that got it at auction, our friend Chris Decker. 4 months later, Brandon bought the assets of Squadron, also from Chris. But MMD and Squadron are always one company, but Chris split it into two, sold them at different times, and we just kind of just kept the same phrase. So it was always MMD Holdings was the last one, I think.
Yeah, that was the Texas crowd.
That was the Texas crowd. So I had to come up with a name. I couldn't get MMD Inc., which is what I wanted. So I said, I'll take Military Model Distributors Inc., because that's what it stands for. Incorporated in the state of Georgia. And here we go. Then I start importing things. I will never forget. The first one was, are you a military base? I can't clear customs unless I have your military authorization letter. Now, Jeff may know what a military authorization letter is, but I've not been in the military, so I didn't even know what it was. And I remember I'm talking to the person. This one was with FedEx. I can't get this through customs without your military authorization. I said, ma'am, I'm a toy store. I have little model planes that I distribute to hobby stores. And finally, she understood and started laughing, and it got through customs. But that was a long delay. And I kept getting this one and one. So I knew I needed to change the name. And we finally got the state of Georgia. We came up with a name that nobody else in the state had, which is MMD Distributors. It still stands for the same time for those of us who know. I mean, it's the same thing. But on our paperwork, the word military is it was just not a good word to have.
Oh gosh. Well, I'm gonna pull up this last thing, then we'll pull our last little guest in here. But check this out. These are finally in stock. Lots of talk, and I'll go ahead and pull in our little guest from the graveyard. How are you, Jeff?
Oh, we're gonna play a game. You know, remember back in college, and you had the drinking games where you'd watch a movie, and every time they said a specific phrase, everybody would drink. Well, we're gonna put a twist on that. Every time Jeff coughs, sneezes, or hawks up a lung or blows his nose, everybody has to go to the website and buy a model kit.
Oh, I like that.
There we go.
Oh, here comes the orders.
There you go. Boom.
Well, yeah, Jeff. Have you got your compressor there handy? So here you go. This is how big this thing is, or I should say, how small it is. It's tiny, and it works really good. This is the one, guys, that we've been talking about that we had at Wonderfest a couple of weeks ago. Took us a little while to get them back in stock, but they are here now. We've got a bunch of them, and they're great. You got to try one. Super quiet, super light, and they work like a champ.
So I have been a longtime proponent of the big Iwata Studio Series professional grade compressors. Now, the one that I have over there is going on 20 something years old, but at the time it was like a $500 or $600 compressor. And so I'm a bit of a snob when it comes to compressors because I bought the very best, and it's been nothing but the Rock of Gibraltar for all of these years of modeling that I've been doing. So I show up at Wonderfest, and Brandon says, "You got to try this little guy." And I looked at it, and I started to laugh because 4 or 5 years ago, I had picked up one of these little tiny 12-volt jobs, and it was horrible. So I said, okay, begrudgingly, I said, I'll give it a try. I had even brought my big compressor with me. And I tell you what, we plugged this little guy in, and I sprayed all through Wonderfest, demoed paint nonstop. And I actually, that's 2 kids. When I came downstairs, I actually went over to the bench and unplugged it and brought it over to show folks. Yeah, this is even beyond wearing the company hat and endorsing a product. This thing really, really, really works. And for the price point, you can't go wrong, especially if you're in a limited space like an apartment, or you have a small building space, or if you have one of those big Campbell house-filled pancake compressors that sounds like the Iraqi drum corps going through your house every time it starts up. Yeah, this is a perfect option.
There you go. Well, they are in stock now, so head over to the website and type in compressor, and you'll find it. Well, I guess better late than never, Jeff.
I tell you what,
the last 10 minutes of the show instead of the first 10.
There's an old phrase called the con crud, and every time I go to a model show, I come back with the sniffles, or this one hit me like a baseball bat upside the head. I have been swallowing broken glass and coughing up, I think, internal organs for 2 days now. And so right now I'm at the apex of like a half a box of Advil cold and sinus, and my Nasonex, and my cough drops and everything else. But wow, this one really kicked me in the tail.
Well, sorry to hear that. The orders are coming in.
That's 3.
Oh man, well, we've had a good time. Dad joined us tonight and talked the business side. We don't do that very often, but I think everybody liked it, so we may have to do this more often. Dad, have you on and give us some of the business side updates. It's certainly something that we don't usually talk about because that's not our our part. I don't know that side like you do. So
Just as long as I don't have to get sick to facilitate it, sure.
No, that would be okay. I'd rather you not get sick. It's kind of hard to do what you're supposed to be doing every day. Well, you and Brandon were both sick. That was what got me.
Well, it was funny. We communicate back and forth throughout the day all the time. And I messaged him a couple of days ago at about 10 in the morning with a question, and he didn't respond back.
Yeah, he was at
And
home.
normally he responds back. And finally, about 7:30 at night, I messaged him and I said, "Are you okay?" And he goes, "Oh, I've been sick. I've been, you know," and I'm like, "Oh." And then I'm sitting here going, "Yeah, you know, I kind of got the same thing going on." And then 24 hours later, boom.
well, see, I didn't get it from a show. I got, we got 3 kids. So when there's 5 of us in the house, what should be a 2-day sickness turns into a 2-week marathon.
Yeah. Yeah. I am isolating. I'm sleeping in my daughter's bedroom. You know, she's long moved out of the house now. So I'm sleeping in the spare bedroom and I'm using the other bathroom and I'm isolating from my wife and I'm down here. So I'm just hoping I don't get her sick because I don't wish this on anybody. Well, nah, I don't wish it on anybody.
Well, did you have anything else you wanted to cover, Dad, or anything you wanted to add to what we've been talking about, Jeff?
Well, you did mention the Mobius, the gallery airbrushes.
Okay.
That we have picked up the line, and again, this falls back on, I don't want to necessarily call it expert advice, but when you develop a paint line, you have to test your paint with every airbrush that's out there to make sure, because I've actually, and I'm sure modelers have run into it as well, where some brands actually spray better through certain brushes and others don't. So when this company first appeared on the scene, they sent me one of the Gallery Mobius 0.2s. And I'll tell you what, I when I'd opened the box, the first thing that I thought was it was going to be a $300 price point type of airbrush. And to my amazement, it came in at under $100 for their top end, under $80 for their top end brush. So this has become my workhorse. I've got 2 of them now, and they handle probably 90% of my paint work. They're very well built. They've got some weight to them, a very nice design. They're really easy to clean, and they seem to work exceptionally well with Squadron colors. So that makes me happy.
Well, good, because I like them. I got my setup over there. I've been working on a model, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I was so sick today that I didn't even consider it. Normally you can fight through it. You know, we've all had those days where it's like, you know what? I feel horrible. I'm not going to go to work. But you can sit in front of the television and be miserable, or you can sit at the model bench and be miserable.
Yeah.
I never got out of bed.
Well, Stephen wants to know, are you going to be demoing those airbrushes at Nationals?
Yes, we will. And we will have a good supply of them available for purchase. And in addition to me demoing them, customers will be able to try it before you buy it.
Spoons, right?
Yes. Our new best friend and Squadron Colors spoons, officially licensed picnic spoons.
I don't recommend you paint your spoon before you test the hot sauce with a spoon.
No.
Not be a good
thing. That might be interesting, though. Well, one more thing before we get out of here, I want to show you guys. So perhaps you know, perhaps you don't. I'm one of these weird guys that likes the hat pins. And did I delete? Nope, there I am. So I love hat pins, and you know it, like Nationals every year, they give you the pins, and I've got a whole big collection of them. Last year we did this little pin and we put them on your models at the show, anything that just caught our eye. And we're going to do it again. And we just got them in. This is going to be the little pin that you might see next to one of your models at Nationals. And this will only be at Nationals. It won't be at any of the other shows because you probably can't tell, but it actually says, "We love your model. Great job. 2026 Nationals, Fort Wayne, Indiana." So these are going to be cool. But the other thing, if you were a member of our Eagle Club last year, then you got a little hat pin saying Eagle Club 2025. Well, Eagle Club was so cool last year and such a success that we did it again this year, and so many more you guys joined it, and you have really been taking advantage of that $100 free shipping. It's good. I'm glad you're taking advantage of it, but some of you guys are really taking advantage of it. So we're going to do another hat pin for you guys this year. This one says Squadron Eagle Club 2026, and this is what this is going to look like. So
and that's an exclusive only to Eagle Club members.
Only Eagle Club members. And if you did not join before now, it's too late because memberships for Eagle Club this year are closed. They'll be back open in November for the 27 club. But we will be mailing these to you in the coming weeks. Some of you guys that order like every day, we're going to drop these in your next one of your next shipments. I don't know exactly when, but sometime between now and Nationals, you will be receiving one of these in the mail. And then the P47 build group. I mentioned that there was going to be something special for you guys, and I told you it's not a big deal, and it's not, but to me it's cool. We're doing a pin for you guys. So anybody that participates in the P47 group build at the Tiger Meet this year, and this one is way bigger than I expected it to be, but you are going to get one of these P47 2026 Nationals group build with the Squadron logo on it. So this will be your official way to remember that you joined Squadron's first ever group build. And then this one.
You know what this reminds me of, Russ? Do you remember when PBS used to do their fundraising drive? and then they tell you all of the different things that you were going to get if you were a member?
Yep. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Well, this one, Jeff, you gave me a hard time a couple of weeks ago when I gave our Nationals plastic model exclusive kit the sneak peek that night, and it was the bottom of the box. You gave me a hard time. Well, you're really going to give me a hard time about this one.
Oh, okay.
Because anybody that buys our exclusive kit at Nationals is going to get one of these hat pins. And yes, I realize I'm showing you the side. If I showed you the front side, you would know what the kit is. So this is your sneak peek tonight.
Oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. Well, that's hilarious. But
cool. That's what I have for you. I mean, the other side of this, of the 4 pins I just showed you, this is by far my favorite. But you're going to have to buy one of our exclusive kits to get it.
I see.
Yep.
That is cruel. That's mean.
Yeah. Well,
but it's fun.
Yeah, that's all I got tonight, guys. This was good. And yeah, Dad, we'll have to have you back. We'll do some more of the business side of things again. This was nice.
Hey, I had one more. You're talking about Nationals and exclusives and such. I got just a little more information on this new exclusive Tamiya kit that we're going to have. And I can't tell exactly what I said because Tamiya said, for those of you who remember, they had a new tooling Pack 38 last year. And they were planning on releasing it. When was it? Like October, maybe?
Yeah.
Or September or October. But they made an agreement with us that they would send over, must have airshipped it, I don't know, several hundred of that Pack 38 to be sold at Nationals. And it was great. And all of you stood in line we didn't even know what it was. In fact, Tamiya didn't tell us. I think we might have found out when we opened the box, when we got the shipment. I mean, if it wasn't that, it was not long before. So they're doing it again. I'm so happy they're doing it again. And so they said, "Are you going to buy them, Russ?" so Brandy can sell them at Squadron. And I said, "Well, what is it?" "I can't tell you." "How many do I have to buy?" "This many." am I going to have any idea what it is? You're not going to send me, something, 1/8 scale college student figure kit or something, are you? No, you'll like it. Well, I think I know what it might be now, or at least close. And it's going to be nice. I think we're all going to be excited. So keep in mind, if you come to Nationals on the first day, there will be a Tamiya new product that I still don't know what it is, but I bought them. And
yeah, brand new tooling, brand new, never released before, won't be released until months after the show.
Right.
And if Dad's guess on what he thinks it is right, you guys better be in line at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock Wednesday at the show. It's gonna be the bomb.
So funny story, when last year, just before Nationals, I came down to Ringgold and there was a pallet sitting in the middle of the floor with Tamiya logo on the boxes, and it was shrink wrapped all the way around. You could barely see the Tamiya logo through all the shrink wrap that was around it. So we're walking back to the back warehouse, and Brandon taps me on the shoulder. He goes, "That's the Nationals release." So I turned, figuring that he knew what it was. And I started walking towards it. He goes, "Nope, don't go near it. Don't go near it. Don't even look at it." And he turned, and we turned and went the other way. We didn't actually know until we opened it up.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was
I
really
jokingly say to them, they don't trust me to keep a secret. And they jokingly say back, "Nope, sure don't." So that's why they don't want it to get out. They don't want it to slip out on the Wednesday night show. Maybe they've watched you two on the show and know you can't be trusted to keep a secret.
Well, but it is cool that they do that, and we'll absolutely keep the secret, because the go back in time before the days of the internet, you used to go to the shows to find out about the new release. So in a very, very, very small way, this brings back a little bit of that excitement, that you got to go to the show and, be there when it opens to, see what the new stuff is. And yes, it'll be out on the forums, 5 minutes after the show starts, but there's that little bit of excitement that you just don't get to experience anymore like you used to back, like I said, before the days of the internet.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, guys, I'm going to go ahead and say good evening. And
I am at my physical end. I am about 30 minutes of sitting upright, and I'm going back to bed.
You'll probably be asleep by the time I tell these guys good night here in a minute.
Yeah, most likely.
All right. Well,
hey, Jeff, I'll talk to you later. Get better.
That's 5.
Well, we'll see y'all next time, Jeff. Have a good one.
Have a good night. Thanks, everyone.
Dad, talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys. I enjoyed being on here, and maybe throw some inside baseball out there.
There you go. Talk to you soon, Dad.
Later.
But guys, thank you so much for being with us tonight. It was an interesting night for sure. We'll have him back sometime to hear some more of the inside info on the business side of things. But next week, I guess I forgot to tell Jeff this, but he's fixing to hear it for the first time. Next Wednesday night, we're going to have the IPMS guys from Fort Wayne join us to talk about the Nationals that's coming up in 2 months, less than 2 months, actually. So I don't know how many of them, but there's several of them that are going to join us next week and hear all about the show. They've got it. It's everything is set, planned, and ready to go. I'm sure they got some final touches, but everything's going to be happening here soon. So we'll talk all about it next Wednesday night. And again, don't forget July 22. In addition to everything else we're going to be talking about, is going to be our triathlon show and tell. So triathlon, meaning you've got to build 3 or give us images of 3 different models from different categories. It could be a plane, a tank, and a ship, or a figure and a car and a sci-fi, whatever it is. 3 different genres, 3 different models. It's going to be a fun night, and that is coming up in just a little over a month. So finish those submissions up, email them over to me. And that's about all I've got for tonight, guys. So again, thank you for joining us. Take it easy. We'll see you next Wednesday night.